All right, appreciate everybody taking the time to be here. Certainly nice to come home and get a couple wins and get that good feeling back, the good feeling and good taste back in our mouth. Pleased with the way our guys responded. I think you go back to the Fort Wayne game, there's some guys that were visibly frustrated, and that was encouraging to see from us. Not that we hadn't seen that before, but just that we were so close, let one slide. But when you give up, when you score 51.5 and you get beat, you understand that it's time to make a change. And I go back to Tuesday's practice last week when our seniors really stepped up, and the accountability came from me obviously, but then also from them. It was really encouraging to see, and I thought that carried over for the better part of Thursday night, and again for the last probably 30 minutes of the game Saturday afternoon. I was very encouraged with what we saw. Now the challenge for us is, last week was a point in our journey, and we can't stay the same. We can't go backwards. We've got to continue to get better, and that's what this week's all about. And obviously some tremendous challenges ahead of us on the road at South Dakota State, and then coming back here against USD. Big questions.
How do you handle Mike Dom? How have other teams tried to handle him this year?
Yeah, you've seen him try a variety of ways. You've seen him doubled. You've seen people switch with them. I think probably the thing that you understand is Mike Dom's going to get some points, and you just got to make him difficult. The thing that we did not do a very good job of last time was fouling him or not fouling him. And again, he went to the free throw line 16 times and made all 16, and that's the big difference. We've got to be a little bit more disciplined with some things and execute a game plan with a little bit more discipline, and just make him beat us over the top consistently, because you're well aware with the size he has and the talent and skill set that he has, that he's going to get some.
Move with Tyson, but I mean, as far as his statistics specifically, it appears to have worked. How do you kind of balance, well, he's earned his spot in the starting lineup back with, man, this is working?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever, you don't necessarily deserve anything, and you got to go out and earn it, and certainly his numbers, but maybe the theory is his numbers are better off the bench too. And I give Tyson a lot of credit. Like I've said this before, where you can start blaming other people for certain things, or you can look at yourself in the mirror and learn from some of your mistakes, learn from some of your failures, and that's what the young man has done. You go back and watch our games, when Chris Quayle or whoever's rising up to make a shot, he's the first guy up to celebrate it. And that's the encouraging part. And, it was certainly something that Tyson and I had talked about, why he's coming off the bench, but it's also been a nice spark for us to bring some points and some production off the bench as well.
Seen from Quayle over the last week and a half, is he starting to get a lot more comfortable out there for you?
Yeah, I think that's probably the big word, Keith. He's just getting more and more comfortable. Chris has got good size. He's got sneaky athleticism. He really knows how to play the game. I think when he came in here, he was just kind of playing on his heels, so to speak, and now you're seeing him shoot it at a pretty good clip, which we knew he was capable of. And it was encouraging the other day, to kind of take one to the rim and finish. And he's a very good, instinctive defender, and kind of pleased, but at the same time kind of anticipated a little bit of this track for a guy like Chris Quayle once he continued to get more and more comfortable.
Minutes for Dylan on Thursday and pretty light minutes on Saturday. Is he dealing with the health thing? Is that sort of a rotation decision?
It's a rotation thing. I think there's certain games and certain situations where we're all better in, and as me running the minutes, it's just the way it kind of played out this weekend.
Played well in the second half. I thought really had some good contributions. What does he have to do to get consistent minutes for you?
Yeah, I mean that's that fine line a little bit, and we talked about it a little bit after the game. Dang's playing very well, and Dang's being very productive in his minutes, and but AJ's a guy that's just been there and done it. So, and for obviously now going into his fourth year, and so there's a comfort level with that. But it's encouraging to see Dang progress. I think it certainly helps him and builds his confidence, but ultimately helps us and allows us to maybe look at some other lineups where those two maybe play together. That's something that we've talked about a little bit, but also just being smart with AJ's minutes going forward.
A lot of great players in the Summit, Woodside, the guys from Oakland, RU. What is it about Dom? Is he right there? Is he better than anybody else? Or
he's right there, if not at the very top. I just think you continue to see him get better. He just handles himself in such, his mannerisms and the way he carries himself. He just seems like a great young man. as painful it is to say that as the opposing coach. But I mean, I think the difference with him compared to some of those other guys was just his size, and he can just really score it at a bunch of different levels. Where Woodside and some of those guys that were perimeter oriented, and you're not getting as many easy ones, so to speak, around the rim where you can just throw it into him and he's going to create a double or he's going to go and finish. But yeah, I mean he's right there, and I don't know at what level, but sooner rather than later that young man's going to have a great future at the professional level as well.
Have offensive possessions, whether it's late in the shot clock or just something's not working where Paul will just make a play. How do you kind of work, not necessarily work on that, but sort of work that into what you guys are doing, and maybe try not have so much hero ball, or try and get a little bit more flow and get other guys involved?
I love playing late clock. That's part of it. I think it's a big part of what we talk about to our group, and I think that's been a big part of our success is our guys understanding that. I think we are a tremendous team in transition, and we've done a better job of that, taking some opportunities in the first 8 seconds. But then you look at college basketball, you look at our statistics as we go back and run the shot clock numbers, unless it's something great. When I mean great, I mean inside out, a paint touch, something at the rim. A lot of our turnovers, a lot of our quick rush bad shots come in that middle, and if we need to take advantage of that to make defenses work a little bit and spin them east and west before we go north and south. And I mean, obviously Paul's playing at a high level, and I don't know if I would consider anything he's really doing right now as a hero. A hero to me is just somebody that's trying to do something that's outside of their capabilities in a heroic manner. Paul's doing what we've asked him to do, what's in the best interest of the team.